professional.
And we're back.
Life Chaser live from Hyperactive Audio.
Just like that. So we got a guest on tonight. I'd like Cole introduce the guest.
I grew up in proximity to a lot of mutual friends, but Mikal Gowins tonight joining us.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Of course, we Life Chaser podcast. We always want to talk about cool stories, cool life stories, and Cole mentioned to me about you.
Yeah.
And I think we've all heard, we've crossed paths maybe with you a little bit at the brew house specifically, and
Yeah, all of us. All of us have seen him.
yeah, so
And that's kind of how we know each other, seeing
yeah,
each other.
it's kind of a theme.
Yeah.
It's how I know both of them.
Yeah.
So, but apparently you slay some duck.
I partake in that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do quite a bit. Ducks and geese.
We've kind of caught stories, all in our own time. We've caught stories here and there, and so, hell, I don't really hunt that much, ever actually. I have hunted.
You've never hunted?
I've hunted before. It's just been a long time, and I'd like to hunt again, but I don't do it actively. So I know there's a lot to it.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to waterfowl hunting, definitely a lot more goes into it, and I don't feel like we're in the perfect area for it
Mecca.
anymore.
We're definitely not in the Mecca.
Like the glory days are long over.
Yeah.
From where we were at one point, in Western Kentucky with waterfowl hunting, but there's still opportunities here at home. But it seems like you need to have quite a bit of money to partake in that. Not to say you still can't do it on public land and stuff, but it just seems like the pressure, and so many people still do it. But with that comes more pressure. Ducks and geese being more like aware, more smart, knowing not to go here and there and other things. We call it that. Also, they get nocturnal, as opposed like the refuges and stuff. If there's a cutoff time at 2:00. Where hunting's supposed to be done, well, you can almost bet at 2:05 to 2:10 the sky's full of ducks. They do get accustomed to that.
Yeah.
They've been there
They
for
know.
a while. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, for sure they do. But I grew up hunting on Kentucky Lake and Lake Barkley and going to Ballard County and that
So
whole
you've been
deal.
doing this from the start.
Well, yeah, and the funny thing is, so my very first time even with like a duck hunting story that I remember, and it wasn't even we were actually hunting, but it was on TV. I'd got home from school, and I thought it was lame. Like I did not think it was cool at all. They were hunting mallards in the timber, and my pops came in. He was like, "Was there any hunting on?" And I lied, and I said no. Well, then obviously all I had to do was flip the channel over, and obviously duck hunting was on. And since I lied, I got grounded. But that was my first. That was my first. Like that was literally my first initial duck hunting story. So because I was like, wow, this looks not fun at all whatsoever. And then long story short, here I am later, and I love it, obsessed over it.
Well, one thing I've learned since the brew house days is you're very into it, and you've seen a lot of places because of it. And I'm very curious, and purposely haven't asked this on the way up here. How did you get hooked up with the places you go, and how did it get to that point?
So the main thing was taking obviously big chances.
Yeah.
Huge chances. Stuff that I feel like at that time in my life when I started guiding, if I could do it all over again, I don't know if I would, just because looking back it's dang, I really did this and that. That might have not been the smartest decision, common sense wise,
Yeah.
But me and my pops, we started snow goose hunting with a certain outfitter. And this is after I'd already duck hunted and stuff for a long time. And this was probably, we were sophomores or juniors in high school when we started going with this outfitter.
Okay.
And I remember they offered me a job, and I'm still in school. And
Yeah.
this is in Missouri, so it's not like I can oh hey, I'm out. I can't do that.
Sophomore.
So yeah, so I couldn't do it. But even then, I remember being upset. Golly, this would be awesome. If I could do this for a job, or something. But everybody at home, even my jobs then, working construction and other things, people telling me you can't make a living at this, this or that, which 99% of people can't. And I'm not it's just I'm very blessed and fortunate in the people I have met along the way. But that's just been a blessing. And actually, putting in the time, but having jobs and working my way up, because some of the people I did first work for, I wouldn't recommend anybody working for those people, whether it was waterfowl hunting or flipping burgers. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
So that's just, it's meeting the right people at the right time, taking chances.
Sophomore, wow.
Yeah. Well, that's when we met those guys, and then that's when I was like, this would be cool, to waterfowl guide, and really
like
thinking
first steps.
But still, I was like, not even then, and then I remember first couple years of college, skipping class way more than I should, telling the teachers like, well, can I just do the test like online? There's a great cold front coming through tomorrow. Like I need to be hunting.
Oh, how sympathetic were they?
Not that sympathetic. The one Miss Quimby, Miss I don't know, at WKCTC. Did you go there?
Murray.
Okay. So she was still like the arts lady or whatever, like big, renowned or whatever for the system. And I told her, I was like, look, I'm not gonna be able to be in class. Like I'll do the work. Like I promise you, like I'm gonna do the work, but like I can't be there as much. Like And she was cool with it, but at the same time, she's like, you just chasing all that. You're not going to get nowhere with them. And I mean, honestly, if you think about it, yeah, she's right 9 times out of 10. But
did you know, like
no, like,
did you know then, like, no?
Well, no, I know that still that was something I wanted to do, but still, there were so many people and like the opportunity here, like, home could just. You just didn't hear of anybody, doing it unless their family, like you were birthed into it, so to speak, or had a farm like in Ballard or somewhere, oh, well, my dad's been running this duck club for 20 plus 30 years, and I just walked into it. You didn't hear of anybody wanting to become like a waterfowl guide and just going at it and doing it,
Right.
So my first job was in Missouri up at Squaw Creek. It was an outfitter up there. I'm not going to mention any names. But I worked for him. This is when I was still working for the construction guy.
Yeah.
And he would let me take off in the wintertime during snow goose season. Well, I say winter, it's going into spring. So that would be like majority of February, a little bit of March, depending on the migration and stuff. And so that was my first initial spring season. So I think it was like 47 days I was away from home, which I'd never been away from home that long, you know. And I'm now, like I said, looking back, I was so young and naive. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I have a guiding job. I wasn't even thinking of like about the money aspect of it then, because I'm like, I can tell people I like goose hunt. Like, okay, like this is cool. I don't really care about the money at that age. And that's something now I should have definitely like cared about the money, because I think this guy kind of saw that too, and he was kind of like, oh, hey, this guy's real eager, and I was like, he just wants to hunt, you know. Because I remember like working my ass off, and at the end of it all thinking, and he did tell me a certain amount I was supposed to get paid, but I'm up there for 40-something days, and, you know, it's time's ticking, and funds are getting low by the day, because I'm still using my money that I'd saved up from construction, which wasn't much at all.
Yeah.
And there at the end, I'm just like, hey, you know, like, can we settle up, you know, or something? Like, I'm getting ready to have to go back home, and then that's when that first went downhill there. But I'm glad stuff like that happens, though, because then you learn, like, the red flags, you know, you hear people talk about and stuff. You can see that when you're doing business and stuff now, which you don't see when you're at that age.
Right.
So that was my first experience with it. But with that, I met a good friend of mine now, Andy Sutcliffe, out of that, which he is from Liberty, Missouri. And we're doing all the work for this guy, and we would have conversations and stuff, and when all the fallout happens, we're like, hey man, like, why don't we do this? Like, we have all the equipment. Like, I brought my equipment up there that spring and still didn't get paid. And it's like, oh, well, why don't we did everything anyway, you know? And
what do you mean by equipment?
Okay, so talking about that, like with snow goose hunting, so now like I have an enclosed trailer and all this and that. That time frame, I was pulling all my stuff just on a flatbed trailer. But
whatever it takes.
Yeah, decoys, layout blinds, A-frame blinds, e-collars, motion decoys. I mean, there's so much that goes, especially with snow goose hunting, with all the...
So e-collars, like electronic collars?
Yeah, so during that time of the year, you can use e-collars because it's a conservation season. They're wanting you to kill as many as you can. And even with all the gadgets and stuff, they're still hard to kill.
Right.
But bringing that up, knowing that, originally the guy told me that I would get a bigger percentage paid, and I didn't get that either, but I'm like, well, I've already got this stuff. Andy had some of his stuff. Why don't we come together and just do it ourselves? And that's the big chance we took. And we opened up our business at the time, which was called Blue Storm Rising Guide Service. And we ran that for like 4 or 5 years. And the only we would still be running it, but he got older, got married, got a better job offer, which by all means take it, like a really good job offer. And it was just that time, no hard feelings or nothing. And it was just that time of our lives where he needed to go that route.
Yeah.
And I still was wanting to do it,
Yeah.
and I was meeting other people along the way that were more involved in the waterfowl industry and stuff. And then that's kind of from there, then you go to meeting people that had jobs in Canada. And like my first initial going to Canada, I lied again to, well, I don't say it wasn't a lie. It wasn't a lie. So I was supposed to go up to Canada in the spring for snow goose season because they have a spring up there.
Yeah.
And the guy that I was supposed to meet at the time was in St. Louis, which my Nana and Pops were cool with me driving there and then, riding with a guy up. Because,
Yeah.
you're talking, where I used to work was 27 hours from the house.
Yeah.
So they're cool with it. Well, like the day before, this guy calls me. He's like, hey, man, like, I'm not going to be able to go. And, like, it crushed me. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, so I'm thinking, and the other guy at the time that I was working with, he lived out in Colorado. And I'd never met this guy, like, in person. I just talked over the phone and stuff. And long story short, I'm like, I got to go to Colorado.
Yeah.
But I can't tell them. Like, I can't do it, So the whole time they're thinking I'm going to St. Louis to meet this guy or whatever. And I remember Nana texted me, like, have you made it?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah.
Exactly 3 hours in.
Yeah, like, oh, yeah, I'm here. And, like, I'm halfway through Kansas. Like,
Wow.
But that was my first, like, big trip going up. And that was a couple months in the spring in Canada. But, that was definitely a shock.
So you hooked up with this guy and just went ahead and
Yeah, that was like the big leap taken. Like,
that was a gamble.
Yeah, well, I even remember driving out to Colorado. Like, what the hell am I doing? Like,
You were following your gut. You're following your gut.
Which usually in life, I don't know if that's always the right thing. You hear people talking about like follow your gut instinct, but like at the same time, a 15-hour drive to Colorado to a guy I've never met.
Would you say it opened the door
Oh
for
yeah,
you?
no, it worked, but I mean,
Is that one
I
of-
don't know if I'd do it twice just because
Right.
of I
Right.
think it was just the time of life.
But you almost had to do it that first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So
That's a life chaser
It's like
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we do this.
Yeah.
That's exactly the story we want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
No,
one of those pivotal moments
See,
in
I didn't
life.
know that at all. The first time I really talked to you at the brew house
Mm-hmm.
and kind of just really caught up with where you're at now, first thing I heard was something about Canada. And I'm like, dude, you're hunting ducks in Canada? You
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
go up there seasonally and guide? That's
Yeah.
fucking awesome. And,
Yeah.
very curious, like, how do you go from Benton, Kentucky to Canada guiding
Yeah.
seasonally? That's fucking awesome. And I'm used to seasonal sort of, my family's Shawnee Bay Resort, so I'm used to the seasonal thing, but
Yeah.
like the Kentucky Lake seasonal thing.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, wow, so that's so interesting because I know seasonal things, they have their own little micro economies, it's a whole world when you're in it.
Oh yeah, and you have to devote all your time
Yeah.
during that.
Yeah,
time
it's
Yeah.
nonstop,
just to
as
that.
needed.
You got to work your ass off while you're there and doing it.
Yeah.
Yep,
Do you
that's
think
it.
you would have made that decision about Colorado that you would be on the same path now? Was that one of those decisions you made that got you where you are now?
It definitely did get me where I am
Because that's a
now.
pretty ballsy decision.
But yeah, I think maybe if I don't do that, I don't know if I'm where I'm at now.
Right.
Because of the people I've met through that decision.
That's
I
a-
don't even work for the same company, obviously, but it's meeting other people and just
Right.
The
yeah.
stepping stone of
Yeah.
getting to a new place.
I think we all have those
Yeah.
those hard decisions or those
Yeah.
ballsy decisions in life, and those ones that were like you said, it was like, oof.
Yeah,
I got-
coming that was right off coming from the one spring I have where I don't get paid,
Yeah.
and then it's like, do I want to do this all over again in another country? No, hell
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
But still, I took the chance to do it just because that's kind of where I was like at that point, like why not?
And I think you I think you love it enough that you're willing
That's
to
the
take
thing.
the chance
Like
anyway.
you've got like, I will say anything you take a chance on, you have to like really love it. You can't just think you love something. Like if you actually go all in about something,
You're gonna find out quick.
you have to obsess over it.
Well, that's what
To a
I've said it
certain
a few
aspect.
times. You have to be 100% committed.
Yeah.
When those hard decisions come up, you
Yeah.
have to be all in.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
Jealous.
I don't think that if you're not 100% committed and make those hard decisions and just go for it, then it's not going. Most of the time, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah. No. Yeah. For sure.
And for some, even if you make those tough decisions,
oh,
it
it
don't
can
work
still
out.
go wrong.
Well, I mean,
But,
yeah.
but you
Yeah.
got to do it, or you
have-
don't know.
You got to see that. You got to go down that path.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, as you were telling it, so I wrote it down. So the feeling, because I can relate to it from the brewing side, but that feeling, like you were, eager, that feeling where you feel like you've dabbled in a world that you admire and the prospect of being relevant in it. Like describe that feeling. Because I remember feeling like, oh, I'm in the brewing world.
So I don't even know. There's even sometimes now I'm like, what the hell? I'm actually like, I do this, you know.
For a time, you were like, I'm the kid. Yeah, I'm the kid. I don't know shit. I'm the
Yeah.
young, like whatever.
Oh well, yeah. I mean that.
but I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, that first spring up in Canada, I was like, because like the clients would meet at the lodge, you know, and they come in, like they would get picked up at the airport or, you know, rent cars and come there. And I remember like the first couple groups, obviously I know what I'm doing, that's why I'm there.
Yeah.
But still thinking like, what the hell? Like this is crazy. Like even like
You're just pinching
like,
yourself.
Like stepping back, like and looking at everything and like seeing people talk and like conversate and everything and talking about hunting and thinking like, oh, like I'm taking these guys hunting in the morning. And I know too, like, you know, and they would ask me like, well, how'd you get it? And I tell them I'm from Western Kentucky, and I still tell people that now. They're like, what? Like you, like, you know, like because it is. I mean, that you don't hear about nobody, especially like where we're from,
Yeah.
doing it. But yeah, that first year, it never. I guess it did dawn on me, like it was surreal. Like, oh, I'm actually in Canada. Like, I have a work visa to be a waterfowl guide here for a certain period of time. Like, and I'm. From
I can
Western
show you.
Kentucky. Yeah, like I literally grew up in possum truck. Yeah, this is crazy.
I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
good.
yeah.
Man, that's a life chasing story.
It is.
It is.
It is.
I'm glad you.
Something to
I'm
be
glad
said about
you-
following your
You
gut.
saw him and invited him on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was perfect timing. Like I said it that night. It was a Wednesday, which typically is not a busy night for the brew house. The wedding had just happened, and so whatever. The work schedule's Brittany was at work. The dog had been kind of cooped up because it was a busy weekend for us. I was like, you want to go out? Yeah, all right. I was gonna have a beer at the house. Screw it. I'll just go on the road, take her out. A big excuse.
So
she'll
the
be
dog said yes?
She'll be happy. She said yes. Thankfully, or
Because
else I'd have
you
been
asked.
drinking
I
alone
know
by
that's-
myself.
That's who I asked. I asked my dog.
Yeah.
Should I drink? Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
if she says no, I won't. She's just
Yeah.
never said no.
I just
Right.
put her outside and I drink.
So I went to the brew house, and my friends were there. Mikal was there. So we were having, we started a fire. Aaron, like, yeah, they had to dip into the oil, but we got the fire started. Got it going.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It was gonna get going, and then so talking around the fire. I heard you talking about latest excursion. I think that night.
Yep.
That sounded exciting. Tell us about that.
So that was for now. I've been guiding now for 7 years, and you know, meeting people along the way, different jobs here, there, trying to make more money. You know, getting older, not just, you know, still loving what I do, but got to pay the bills too.
Yeah.
That's it.
And meeting people throughout, and where I used to work, they did like a webisode series on YouTube called The Dream Job, which is a cool deal. Like, and they wanted a guide's perspective, so we would be mic'd up early in the morning, camera in your face, you know, which was very foreign to me because I'm just like people don't realize, like when I take people out hunting, like I'm professional, I just have a way of doing things, and like we can cut up and stuff if the hunt's going good, but like if the hunt's not going good, which now I'm more so laid back, but like I'm not enjoying myself. Like because I want people to experience what I've got.
There's a level of stress.
Yeah, and people are coming to pay this type of money.
Yeah.
And they look at all the videos and they think every time it's supposed to, and it doesn't, because it's hunting at the end of the day. And it's 100% fair chase. It's not like we've got these ducks and geese in a pen. Like, okay, flush them out and like, okay, shoot them. But I met Sean Weaver, who was doing the Dream Job thing with them at the time, and he knows a lot more people even than me, and he's like a very good waterfowl hunter and stuff, and he knows the guys from Meat Eater, like Steve Ranella and all them guys, and he got offered to do their waterfowl like production for Meat Eater, which was when I remember we were talking about this like back. I guess we were in Kansas, like on a creek, duck hunting. Hunt was not going good, and they know him and Max. Like they know, like there is times like if the stuff's, and it all depends on the clients too. Like, and I'm not really the biggest. I know this is bad to say. I'm not the biggest people person. Like I'm super nice, but like if you're like off the rip, like either cocky or arrogant or whatever, like I don't really care. Like you're just wasting my time. Like I'll still be out here and do my job, but like I'm not gonna try to get to know you because I don't
leave your ego at home.
Yeah. Like, so and you meet all different types of people.
Yeah.
Taking, I've took all across the world different people hunting. Well, when the hunt's not going good and I'm on camera, I don't like being beside the people I don't want to be by anyway. So like I would sneak out of the blind and go sit back by where Sean was at by a tree or something. And this one hunt in particular, he was telling me about like what could possibly, happen or whatever. And yeah, we need to do this or that. Like if I got, and I was like, yeah, with y'all, I would do anything. Well, then fast forward, a couple years, and here he is, the Meat Eater waterfowl production, with that whole deal. And his stuff is, awesome. Like the way they do things and whatnot. But he asked me last summer, called me up one day. He's like, hey, you think you'd want to do like a snow goose? I'm like, yeah, that would be awesome. Like what you tell me what you want, at that point.
Yeah.
And that's where I just got back from. That was like the third week of March this past, just here a couple months ago.
Very fresh.
We went to South Dakota and snow goose hunted for a week, and that episode's supposed to come out like at the end of summer is what they're like. I know stuff happens or whatever, but it's supposed to be at the end of the summer. So
Man, that's cool.
That's awesome.
That's cool shit.
yeah. So it'll be cool. It'll be cool to see that, because like I said, I've been on TV and done the Dream Job thing. I've been on the Ground waterfowl TV show and stuff, but that. The Meat Eater's just like that's one of those surreal moments. That's like, what? Like, really?
Well,
And you'd even said the other night, you said something one time you were told that you were on the Outdoor Channel.
Yeah, well, see, like, because I'm back to the cocky, arrogant. Like, I feel like the waterfowl industry is the most cutthroat. Like, oh, I shoot more ducks than you, and like all this and that. And I've
really?
never been that. I really do feel that way. And it's all about, which social media is good for it, but at the same time, it's all about the pile pick. And like I've taken groups of guys on hunts before, and let's say the limit we could have shot, 48 mallards or something, and we only shoot. And this is Canadian limits. This is not in the States, by the way. But we shoot 44 mallards. Well, they don't like it because we didn't kill out. And it's like, do y'all realize? Like, I grew up, like, if we went out and shot one duck, I'm going to the school telling people about it. I'll tell them,
They want to go home because they have to.
Yeah, so that's where, like, the whole, that aspect of it kind of came into play and stuff, so, but.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's part of it, yeah.
That's like a stressful.
It is,
Yeah,
like, and it does still, it's a job. Like,
At that point, you're tapping into the professional energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
There's a lot of
professional.
days. There's a lot of days. Like I'll know right off the rip. Like we're screwed. We're not gonna kill him. And you still gotta do the. Yeah, I might still be coming. And I'm like,
I think I see him.
Yeah, I'm just like, I want to get back and have a drink. Like this is brutal. So my rule, like we try, or wherever I'm hunting, but like if they're still wanting to stick it out, we try to go to like 10, 11 o'clock, but like if we've sat there for 2 hours and ain't seen shit, it's like, come on.
Do you, looking back, did you ever think you'd be on a Meat Eater?
No, not at all. Like I didn't, and that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't expect any of that side of it. Like if you would have told me, oh, you'll be a waterfowl guide, okay, that's fine. But then with all the other like the media outlets and stuff now that I've done, and I'm not saying I've done a bunch, but enough to where it's like you can look up and like on YouTube or different things, and I do like there's different videos and stuff of me hunting. That is weird. Hell, it was more weird seeing my dog. Like I was proud. Like the first, I was like, "This is awesome." Like screw me. Like this is cool. Like my dog is like literally retrieving ducks in Canada. Like this is awesome.
Hell yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome when you have a dream or a goal and then you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, and where I'm at now, I work in Arkansas now. With Snow Addictions Guide Service, which I met the owner of that years back through Canada and everything. He's a great dude. But I love it in Arkansas. Like it's awesome, and like where we're at, like good people.
That's a good state.
Yeah,
It's not 27 hours.
it's not 27 hours.
You know,
it's 5. Like that's like going to
That's doable.
Southside Paducah.
That's
To me,
doable.
like,
Yeah, I was running
it's not-
Paducah.
That's not a big deal.
Me
Just
and,
running Cicadas.
me and Monty listen to a podcast or off and on, and it's a meat eater podcast, and he's from Arkansas. Clay Newcomb. He's-
Which podcast is that?
That's it's in the meat eater umbrella.
There's so many
Here.
different.
They got a lot of things going on. The waterfowl, and then Steve has his own thing. Clay Newcomb, he's under the
Is that Bear Grease? or
Bear
the-
Grease.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
me and
Yeah.
we've listened to a few of, and they're from, I guess, the northwest Arkansas, the kind of a mountainous
Okay.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I should have came more prepared because one of my friends just went. They went hunting back in the springtime in Arkansas.
For snow geese.
I
Yeah, I'm guessing
thought
it was
maybe ducks.
Okay, well, it would have been like in January.
Oh yeah.
Unless you got some wild friends.
No,
Hey,
no, it would have been. I just can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
remember when they went exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And but like I think there was a country music star there with them at the same time.
I believe
like
it, yeah.
so,
Yeah.
I just figured you might run it. You
No,
say you run into a lot of different people.
You do, and especially in Arkansas, it's a very like laid back setting, but at the same time, like we have, like it's a party dang near every night. Like if the clients are cool and stuff, you
Yeah.
want to hang around them
Yeah,
and stuff. And,
yeah.
and that's the thing. We're always open and like want to talk and like hang out and stuff.
Yeah.
And especially there, we prioritize like. Yeah, you're here for the hunt, and we're definitely really good at what we do. But also, like, we like to build that relationship up to like. There's this group of guys from California that I guided last year, and like, they're awesome. Like, they're like if I could have that group of clients every time, like they're the guys you want to go out with like Friday night.
You bet.
Like,
Yeah.
just cool dudes.
Well, that's a cool thing.
I know
about-
you got a good story of the after hours portions. You at least one.
Well, I've got a.
Seasonal stuff. You got people that are on vacation.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could blame. We'll say.
We'll blame it on the alcohol.
We'll say this one story in particular. So these guys show up. We're in Canada. We are, or they show up brand new shotguns. Which okay, cool. And they say they're big hunters, but when you show up with brand new shotguns, whatever. But, you got to be professional. So.
Yeah.
So we're talking on, drinking some cocktails and having a good time, and they're bullshitting back and forth with us, and they're asking like, so how did the snow geese, come? Because snow geese in the spring up in Canada do act completely different than from down here during that time frame. Like, I don't know what it is. We call it like the snow goose rut, so to speak. Like, but it's like, it's their last place they stop migrating back to where, like, the last bit of grain they get before they make the long trek over the forest back up to where they nest at. And they're all like the adult snow geese are like always pushing the snow line and stuff, wanting to get back because they're wanting to be the first ones back to breed and all this and that. But once they get up there and get comfortable and the pressure from hunting goes down immensely, they just get like lazy. I don't know. Like it's like they just don't act the same. It's like, damn, 3 weeks ago in South Dakota, none of y'all would come in, and now it's like out here we don't even have to use as many decoys, like that whole deal. But so this one client is asking us like, hey, so how close do they get up here? And like, I mean, we had some drinks in us, but I mean, this is like what ends up happening, it was like, damn, I didn't know you was that messed up, you know? And we're like, man, they're so close up here. Like, you don't even need a choke in your gun. Like, haha.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like joking. And you're a big hunter. You need a choke. Like,
So-
you know that. That's common sense.
So they pulled all their chokes.
Well, so the next morning we set up, and there's a limit in the springtime up there. You can kill 20 each. So there was 4 of these guys in the group. So we go out, and like the geese read the script perfect. Like we should have been done like in 30 minutes to an hour. Because I mean they're coming out quick, but they're shooting and like nothing's dying. So like I'm still having to do the whole like professional thing. Like, oh yeah, next group guys. But at the same time I'm like, God, do these guys realize like what we're watching right here? Like this is like we should be long gone. Well, after probably the 8th or 9th volley of like groups of snow geese, like at 15 yards, side shooting them. So like when I would say kill them, like when they would come, because we can't shoot, guides can't shoot in the springtime up there, but when they would come up to shoot, like the geese don't even have no idea because we're side shooting them. So like it was literally take your time, just squeeze. Well, this guy like hops up out of his blind after like the 8th or 9th volley, and he's like, oh, I feel like there ain't shit coming out of my gun. I'm like, oh boy. So I get up and go. I'm like, you know, sir, you know, what's wrong, you know, or whatever. And he's like, well, ever since last night, y'all said take your chokes out. He's like, I don't feel like. I'm like you got to be kidding me. So luckily we was able to thread it back in his gun. And then obviously he started shooting a little bit better. But I was like, man, we were joking, man. Like I'm talking about like the after hour stories, and those were big hunters, you know. It's like no, come on,
Wow.
like just crazy.
I'm a big deal. I'm a big deal.
Yeah, like
Ooh.
so.
Ever since y'all instructed us to take the chokes out.
They went back to their rooms. They're like, they said take the chokes out.
Everyone, all right, boys, you heard him.
Yeah. So
Got the inside scoop.
What shotgun do you use?
I use a Benelli Super Black Eagle 2. I'm getting ready to sell it though. I think I'm going to convert over to Beretta.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's time.
Both of y'all. Intriguing. Indubitably.
I'm tired of we call it the infamous Benelli click, but because you know they're inertia driven, and I know I'm shouldering mine good, but still that it wants to jam on me still, and I just want something where I can come up with snow geese for sure,
Right.
Because I have an extension tube on my gun right now, and my gun shoots a total of 13 rounds.
Oh, wow.
So like the extension tube, like it is out past the barrel, but that's for snow goose season, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I'm gonna convert over. So
How do y'all feel about that?
Well,
I think I got a Super X 2 or a
Winchester?
3.
I'm against it. I don't care.
Whatever mine says, I'm the
Hey,
other.
I think this dude knows what he's doing. I got a
I'd
feeling.
say-
I got
I'd
a
say
feeling
so.
that anything I say is not going to be very educated. So
I don't remember if mine's a 2 or a 3, but
Yeah.
Winchester. It's okay.
yeah.
So do you do any cool stuff while you're in Canada, not related at all to the work?
I think I drink more up there than
Yeah.
normal. No.
What kind
I
of
think
beer?
all
what kind of
Canadians
beer they got?
do.
Yeah, if you think about it, kudos to them for living up there when it's that cold. And you mean to tell me I'm not supposed to drink?
Yeah.
That's
Like,
it.
what are you supposed to do?
What's
Like,
That's the point.
What's the go-to beer up there?
so it's called kokanee.
Kokanee.
Oh my gosh! Like this beer, like it's amazing.
Can we get it here? Is it
Really?
possible to get down in the States, you think?
I don't know. I want to say I looked that up a few years ago, and I think you could, but like it's
Probably got to do it.
and it's got a higher percentage in it.
That's right,
but, I
man.
mean, it's so.
what
It
that,
is.
growing up, we had some friends from, I guess, Michigan, and they would bring down like Labatt. What was that?
Labatt Blue.
Labatt
They got
Blue.
that in the States, the
Yeah.
northern states.
They got different beers up
There's
there.
another one too, like Moosehead or Moose Tracks, or I think
Yeah.
something along those lines. I think, but I like Kokanee way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Kokanee.
It's good. Weird name.
Jason.
What's it
Jason
comparable
can bring
to,
us
do you
back some.
think?
He
Just
got-
if you were thinking, maybe. If it, you may not be able to think
I don't
anything,
think
but-
it is comparable. You just need to.
Really?
You need to
We need to talk to Jason.
I actually
we got a
got a-
buddy, Jason, comes to the brew house, and he goes up to Canada.
Yeah, I actually got a text from him this week. He said, "Hey, you want to go to Canada because they bought a cabin up there." He said, "Hey, just going to drive up and we're going to work on the cabin for a week. Just that's all we're going to do is stay at the cabin and do work on
That
it."
don't sound like a bad time.
Oh no, because they've been up there like where you got to take they drive up and then you got to take a train or some crap and then you just like jump off the tracks and then it's snow.
Yeah.
Tuck and roll.
And pretty much
Tuck and roll.
tuck and roll.
Off the
It
train.
sounds awful.
Yeah.
It sounds awful. Like you just spend a week in a cabin trying to survive, you know?
Yeah, this does kind of sound terrible.
Yeah.
Well,
But if you know Jason, it's like you're going to be,
You'll be all right.
you'll be all right.
You'll be all right.
You'll be all right.
well, there was one. So season always comes in September 1st, and we got up there one year like the start of August. Obviously, different time frame in my life where I wanted to do that. But they had they do these horse races like barrels, like the old wagon type deal. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Monty can appreciate this.
Do you do that?
His,
No,
his
but
wife's a
I
horse vet.
rodeoed,
Oh, okay,
and my
sweet.
wife's a horse vet.
Okay. Little backtrack from that.
So-
I used to want to be a professional bull rider.
Okay.
Up until I saw a guy at the bull blowout smack in the face.
And then you were out.
And then he was screaming for his mom. I was
Did
like,
you actually
I'm
ride?
out. I'm out.
Huh?
Did you
No,
ride?
The closest thing I got to riding was the mutton busting on a sheep. They opened the gate and I fell.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Quick,
No, yeah, I mean,
Monty loves
you're-
sheep.
No, I love
Easy, Turbo.
No, we used to go to the PBR in Nashville.
Oh,
I used
yeah.
to know all the bulls, all that. That was a good.
Yeah,
time.
I mean, I used to too, but like I rode bulls when I was younger,
Okay.
and then I started calf roping.
Golly, what? Okay, so tell me that getting on a bull, how epic.
It's awesome, man. It's like the adrenaline rush. So the very first time I went to a bull riding was at Aurora. We kind of chatted
Yeah.
about this a little bit, but they just happened to put a bull riding on at Aurora. I was 15, and me and a friend went. We were kind of. He was 16, so he could drive, and I couldn't. So like that whole summer, we just went to rodeos anyway, and like. The month before they had this, they set it up. I told my buddy, I'm like, man, I'm gonna be riding bulls. They're gonna have this next month. I'm gonna be here riding bulls. And he's like, whew. I went and bought my equipment, and it just so happened that so it's a bull riding. It wasn't like a practice.
Hey, you on him
And
right off the rip.
so I get on the first one. I don't last very long. About maybe 4 or 5 seconds.
That's what she said.
Yeah, no shit. and then they say, well, we don't have enough riders tonight, so everybody's going to get a second bull. So the very first time I ever got to ride, I got on 2 in the same night.
That's what she said.
So
Were you like nervous the second time? You're
no,
like,
actually, not at all. The second time, it was like because
Exciting.
you'd already
You'd already done it.
yeah
You're ready.
So
It's kind of like your cheat code, and you don't have to wait 2 weeks or whatever it was. Like, I'm going tonight.
It was pretty wild because I was getting on the second bull though, and the guys that is helping me, he's pulling my rope, and he said, "Yeah, pulling rope is where they actually tighten the rope on the bull, and the reason that somebody else tightens it, I better explain this with you laughing. So the reason somebody else tightens it is because when they start getting it tight, you have rosin on it, and
Yeah.
you have to rub that rosin to get it sticky so that it doesn't just pull
Yeah.
out of your hand right away.
now, are you right or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
So do you grip with your left hand?
So that's just personal preference.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm actually
Seriously.
a little stronger with my left hand per se. For some
If you
reason.
thought about it, if you were going to ride a bull, are you right or left-handed?
See, I'm predominantly left-handed, but I think I'm gonna go right.
Yeah.
I think
If
I'm
you're going
Are
to
you
ride a
talking about
bull,
pulling the
no,
like
just
holding.
Holding.
I'm right.
I'll go right. Yeah, I'll go right.
It's
But
weird.
I'm right-handed.
You're right-handed. I think I would go left, and I'm right-handed, but
I
I'm
ain't going
I
ambidextrous
think I'd
too.
go
But
right.
I feel like I'd have more balance.
And I'm kind of the same way. I always felt like I should try left,
Yeah.
But you're kind of stuck in. I was 15. I didn't have a lot of money, and once you buy a right-handed bull rope,
You're in.
Okay, well that also.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong though. Like the Brazilians will buy right-handed and then ride left-handed because
Right.
they pull their rope opposite.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange. But that being said, so the second bull I get on, when I'm getting on him, the guy's pulling my rope and he says, "Hey man, just to let you know, this bull's hooky." And I was new to it. I was like,
what's hooky mean?
he's like, he'll get you with a horn in a heartbeat. Like,
That right there is where I'm like, oh, well, I'll take the next one that's not hooky.
Yeah. Yeah.
and he said, so if you hit the ground, make sure you're up and running as quickly as possible. And you have to hit the ground. Even if you make a qualified ride, if you make 8 seconds, no matter what, you have to jump off the bull. So you are going to hit the ground
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah.
You might land on your feet, but that's not necessarily going to be every time.
Right.
So when you think about that, you're like, well, I'm going to hit the ground. So I just got to know that I'm running away from him.
Yeah.
That didn't happen for me. I hit the ground. I got halfway up, and he hit me in the back, lower or just above your buttock, just right there, and pushed me about 20 foot, and I landed on a fence.
Oof.
And the announcer, I guess, I never heard him,
What'd he
but
say?
my sister,
Look at that old Monty go.
Yeah.
he says, "Raise your hand if you're all right." Well, I never heard him because your adrenaline's rushing. I mean,
Yeah, you don't hear anything.
but my sister came running over there, and she said, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right." And she's like, "Well, the announcer said raise your hand." I'm like, "Who the hell heard the announcer?" I mean,
Yeah.
I don't. I mean,
just was in the air.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's strange. So, but yeah, so I rode bulls for a little bit, and then started into calf roping. So the rodeo thing. Sorry, I know I busted into your story about the Canadian.
That's what I wanted to do when I was growing up too as well. But I'm glad. I think.
But you're a good size for it, actually. You probably would have been good at it. That's the funny thing.
But if my second attempt on a bull and I get flown through the air, I'm wrapping it up.
Yeah.
I don't think I
If
take
a
as
big-
many
if the big-
chances in the rodeo world that I do.
If the big hooker came up,
Yeah.
Big hooker.
My favorite bull though growing up was, and which I never got to see, but was Bodacious.
Bodacious.
Bodacious was the
Bodacious.
Yeah,
Yeah, he heard a lot of guys.
You had to buckle?
Yeah. Like
I love
was all
Bodacious.
about
You probably
Bodacious.
watched Tough Hedeman.
Yeah, so
and-
yes,
yeah.
and 8
and-
seconds is
and-
like one of my favorite moves of all time.
Well, so
Yeah.
With Lane.
Yeah.
So-
I heard they were maybe making a new movie about Lane because if you read more about Lane, that story, that movie was pretty close, but it wasn't the act.
Really?
His parents still go to rodeos.
Really?
His parents are not what they portrayed them. Maybe they were back then, but not. They're
Well,
not.
they
what-
dramatized that,
Yeah.
They
that
dr-
movie, from what I understand.
and Tyler Perry and all of them did a great job because
yeah.
you could feel Lane
Oh, no,
through
that-
Tyler Perry, but
That movie.
Oh yeah.
So good. I was coming back one time from guiding in Canada, and we went by the Cheyenne Frontier Days.
Yeah.
You know where he got killed at.
yeah,
And seeing that was really cool. You
Yeah,
know?
and they got the statue there, and that, if you go to where he grew up in Wyoming, God, I'm trying to think. There's a statue there as well. I
I
think.
can't remember where he was from.
Oh
but-
wait, no, I'm thinking of the country music's guy.
well,
I'm
Garth-
thinking of
Garth.
but Garth sang about him.
Oh,
Chris Ledoux.
Chris Ledoux.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking about. There's because he was a world champion bareback rider too.
yeah.
Well, sum that up. Just talking about
Yeah.
extracurricular activities in
Yeah.
Canada.
yeah.
And we were going to a bunch of those horse races and different things, which was fun. Like and walleye fishing up there, like in August, like it's just so enjoyable. Like it is. But talking about, you asked me about certain beers or whatever.
Yeah.
This is. I know they do it here in the States too, but this is the first time I was introduced to it. It's called a paralyzer. And it is.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, you hear that.
Sounds right up my alley.
What would that be? Yeah.
I don't know about that.
So, well, and I don't know if it was just because I was there and I'm like, I don't want to disrespect the Canadian culture, whatever. But it's vodka, milk, or that, I can't say the name right. The Kahlua.
Kahlua? Yeah.
And something else, but they mix this up. And this is when, August, it's still hot up there. And you got to drink it fast before it curdles.
Whoa.
But
how's that feel on the old belly?
Not bad. I honestly I don't drink milk. Like milk tears me
I
up.
don't.
Yeah, I don't do milk.
And this drink was actually good, and the name was suiting.
Kahlua is good. I mean, I've had Kahlua since
Oh.
more recently than milk.
So it's just vodka
Yes,
and
vodka,
Kahlua, or
and there's vodka Kahlua, and I know I'm missing maybe.
Is milk in it and Kahlua, or is the Kahlua the milk?
No, I think I want to say Kahlua is the cream.
I love Kahlua.
ice cream?
I could do that. I could manage that. So vodka Kahlua.
No, well, if it but curdling though, that means there would have been some milk as well.
Sometimes you gotta chew it if it's curdled.
see.
You know what I mean?
That's why I don't trust nobody.
Kahlua-
I eat cottage cheese.
Kahlua.
See, Brittany ate cottage cheese today. I still don't eat that shit.
No,
Yeah.
What?
What are you doing?
cottage cheese?
I don't want it. I don't
Well,
want it.
don't get me wrong. I
trust
don't
it.
really do milk in general per se nowadays, but I used to love some milk and cottage cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been on the cottage cheese train.
No.
My pops will do cottage cheese and peaches.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Kahlua will sneak
I
up.
don't do it these days. I just don't do dairy much. But so.
Kahlua will sneak up on you. Like you get up in the morning and you're like, it's a Saturday, and you're like, I'm going to be productive. You make some coffee, and then it's like, shit, I don't have too much to do today, so I'll throw some Kahlua in my coffee. And then all of a sudden,
I always did that.
no, and then all of a sudden, you finish your coffee. It's like, I'm not done.
I always put St. Brendan's in my coffee before
Yes,
classes in
yes.
Murray.
What's that?
Always. It's just
Irish.
cream liqueur.
Okay.
Irish cream.
Good. It's good.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Do you like Irish cream?
Fuck yeah, dude.
I figured you did.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I ain't even shying away from that one. Yeah, dude. I love it.
My goodness.
In my coffee.
Good times. Good times.
St. Brendan's is good. It's cheaper than what's the main one?
Bailey's.
Bailey's.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Bailey's.
thinking.
Bailey's,
Bailey's,
man.
Bailey's is what I put in the coffee.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an Irish coffee, like a
Bailey's
nighttime
is
drink, dessert drink. St. Brendan's is a different brand.
Okay.
My family always gets St. Brendan's.
I've got Bailey's in my refrigerator, but I never touch it.
Bailey's
Well,
is
I
good.
gotta-
Throw in your coffee. If you
Bailey's.
drink coffee.
That's the one that'll sneak up on you if you put it in your coffee and you want to have a productive day. It's not going to be a productive day. It's going to turn into a fun day.
What were you drinking earlier that you were just talking about before Bailey's? Kahlua.
He was talking about Kahlua.
Kahlua,
Yeah.
that's what they put in, like rattlesnakes, the shot. Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
a chocolate
Yeah.
Bailey's almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a wild ride a few years ago. Me and my friend Carly went to the Grand Tetons.
Mikal knows Carly. Carly's
Oh.
our age. Carly Watkins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, we had
We had her dad on
yeah,
one of our first
Ben-
episodes.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
He's a good dude.
great people. So we had a veterans benefit at the brew house, and it was Friday or Saturday night, and I worked the whole thing, and I had a flight the next morning at like 6 a.m. in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, it's at the brew house, so we had bands and stuff, drank a little bit the whole day, got done at like midnight. And I went home, took a shower, finished packing, and I was like, I'm not going to sleep. So I left my house around 2, drove to Nashville, got there around 4:30, and got on the flight, flew to Miami, and got off the flight, and Carly Fashion had me some coffee with Bailey's in it.
Oh, that
I mean,
clutch.
yeah, clutch.
Yep.
And that started off the whole day, just drinking. But
Ended and started the day
no,
simultaneously.
I actually, we were supposed to leave out the next day for Wyoming, and we had some flight trouble, and we went to Miami Beach that day or whatever it is, and drank pretty much all day, and I had to get on a flight myself to Charlotte that night, and of course drinking all day, and spent the night in Charlotte, got up, flew to Dallas. I was like in 5 or 6 states in like 2 days trying to get to Wyoming. And
Yeah.
Did you get there?
I don't think I ever like stopped drinking, like steadily. Yeah, we made it. We made it, and it was a great trip.
Well,
And
you saying that, I'll touch on this real quick. So I've been obviously all around the world. I've never once flown.
you haven't flown once?
Not one time. That's
In
like
your
when
whole life?
When I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, no shit." I'm like, "Never, not once."
You've never been on a helicopter or a plane? Or
Nope. I'm terrified.
Well-
I'm terrified too.
Oh,
I'm
God.
literally I'm literally
Here we
terrified.
go.
I'm terrified too.
What are
Hey,
y'all terrified about flying?
crashing,
Okay,
dude.
so and here's everybody's. Everybody says this. Well, the chances are higher in a car. I get that, but 9 times out of 10, I'm the one driving the car. Let's say the pilot, just throwing this out there. Let's say he finds out day of, my wife cheated on me,
He wants to kill himself.
and he's got to go to work. And that happens to be the plane ride that I get on. And if I go down because he's just on some bullshit,
Yeah.
I just don't want to put myself in that situation.
But
I know
also,
I'm-
fear is irrational. So shut up with the irrational shit. I know it's not logical to be afraid of it. I just am afraid of it.
yeah.
I
It
don't wanna-
is.
I don't want to do it, and I'm not gonna do
you're
it.
afraid of it. It's because you don't have a mustache
I've been everywhere,
anymore.
but I've drove everywhere.
I'm naked.
Well, I don't know.
I'll do it one day. My
That's what I say.
My girlfriend is the only person that would even.
That's what
I'll
I
even
say.
Attempt
One
to
day,
get on.
it'll be worth it when I do
Yeah.
it. It'll be worth it.
So,
Feel honored, future people that get me on a plane.
if you get me on a plane, you better take a
future
picture.
people that get Mikal on a plane.
That's it.
I love it. I
Get a,
love
pic-
it.
get a picture of me
I think it's
comatose
fantastic.
hanging off.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the flight.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, fire that thing up. Get her up in the air. Hell, we'll get halfway there. I'll jump out the back. I don't care. And parachute work. I mean,
See, I don't. It don't bother me a bit. Like I don't know.
does it?
I don't know.
Well,
I love it.
well, moving on, dude.
Wait.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Well, now we've talked about this a little before. For work one time, I went and got on just a little twin prop. We left from Mayfield.
That's a
Airport.
bad sign.
Yeah, Mayfield
Yeah, I
Airport.
don't know. I don't know if
And
that's
went
what
to-
you want to tell me to get me on a plane.
So-
we left from Mayfield.
Well, yeah, that's exactly.
To be fair,
At 8 a.m. And it is foggy. I am talking like I'm having trouble driving there. Right? It's foggy. And I get on this plane at 8 a.m. We go to Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Get there. I look at a job, eat lunch, get back on the plane, fly back to Mayfield, and I'm back in Paducah at work by like 1:30, 2 o'clock.
I love it.
And I'm
I mean, I
like,
get it from a time standpoint.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I get it.
I
I don't
love it.
like driving far distances now. Like,
I do.
don't.
I do love driving. I love seeing the country.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. Like, there's just something about the plane. I'm just like,
I don't
I
want
get it.
And I'll break a drive up in 2 days. I don't give a shit.
I used to drive like that Colorado trip, and this was obviously like off of adrenaline as well. But like, I drove that straight.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is.
And I assumed that from the story.
Yeah.
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 How long was the trip?
It was only. I mean, getting to Colorado was like a little over 15 hours,
Yeah.
and then still to where we was at in Saskatchewan. I think it was like another 11 or 12.
Yeah.
North. And I used to not mind driving in the dark. Now, like, I'm like, what was that?
Yeah, I don't like it in the dark.
Yeah.
If we leave too early, that's what she said. If we leave too early, you got like 2 hours before the sun comes up.
Yeah.
You leave too early. We go to Florida.
And I think that's like depending on if I'm driving and it's daylight and then it gets dark, I immediately like.
yeah.
Or if it's dark and it gets like into the morning, like there's something about that.
That's
time
the part where
and
I
it
can't take it.
I
kills
kind
me.
of struggle I'll usually start the drive to Florida or back from Florida. It's the sun's not up,
Yeah.
and for a couple hours it won't be. I'll stop, but if we leave and it's a 2 hours between now and sun, I'll usually stop once between now and then
Yeah.
just to be like, I gotta like reset.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna
That's where
Get
I
a- get a
struggle.
breath- get a breath.
When the sun's coming up.
yeah, it sucks.
I struggle there.
I'm stalking your social media page here on
Yeah.
He's got a
Instagram.
pretty good social media page.
You want to give
I see
people?
I see some alumni in that top middle picture. There.
Yeah, I
do,
see
you
see some people I know. You want to give people how can they find you on social media?
Oh yeah, my Instagram.
I know some of those goons.
Yeah, we've all been there on that picture for sure. My Instagram is at Mikal Gowins 23.
Can they hit you up there for some
Yeah.
guiding
Yeah,
services?
you can hit me up there, or you can find me on Facebook as well. Just my name. That would be Mikal Gowins as well.
Speaking of crazy stuff on
Can
social,
you? Well, here, I'll show
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
If you want to see something crazy,
Yeah.
no, just go down.
down
Go down a little bit more.
Okay.
Click that video right there.
this one,
No. Up. That one. Click that one.
that one.
Yeah.
There we go. This was from.
Holy cow.
Oh, that's a lot of. What is
I'll
that?
tell you that you would think that's probably like Canada, or something crazy.
Yeah.
That's only like an hour and 30 minutes from here.
We'll
Well,
tr-
about an hour and 45.
We'll try to throw that up on the video. That is.
So what's happening right now?
If you go,
Southern Illinois?
That is snow goose season in southeast Missouri.
Okay.
if you go to his Instagram,
Wow.
Close ups, the decoys, and that.
Yeah, I had my phone. My phone, luckily, that morning was before the battery went from 99 to 50 in 3 seconds.
yeah,
It's because you got an old crap phone.
yeah. So I literally had it on a decoy stake, and this was happening.
that's crazy. That's
it is.
March 18th, 2020.
Well, that's when I put it on here.
Okay.
This was a couple years prior to that, but that's where we're cutting into.
That's wild,
Yeah.
man.
So is that swarm
And that-
common, or did something
Look
was,
at
it,
'em
was the
dropping
swarm
out of the
itself
sky now
sort
while
of
they're
a,
shooting
was that
a
was
fire
that
at
was
'em.
the swarm itself common, or was that sort of like a blue moon situation?
I mean, they all kind of came. I expected that hunt to be good, but they all did kind of come at once that morning.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, off of a couple rips we had that morning, I think we shot 82 or 85 or something like that.
And that's 82. Like,
Snow geese.
so we're looking at something like this, and here in 82, was that like within 10 minutes?
Oh yeah,
Right.
that was like 3 bunches of geese.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like that, all this happened within probably 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say you're pretty good at what you do.
Yeah, it's obviously a lot about being in the right place at the right time. That's for sure.
That's about what life is.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say that my big thing is I always say just show up, because good stuff will happen, but a lot of times people aren't ready. So you
Yeah.
just show up, and a lot of it is that.
I was scrolling through here and I hit up on some Johnny Depp and the Johnny
Yes.
Depp trial
Yes.
stuff.
What do you
Was
all
that
think
Amber
about
flying out there?
Yeah, Amber.
Johnny's about to hit her with a bullet. So to bring it back to Mikal,
Yeah.
we're here tonight, and we've heard a really fucking cool story. What are your goals? What do you want to do? What other mountains do you want to climb?
At a certain point throughout this, it would be nice to, which I have already owned my own business, but I just want to keep. I don't want to put a ceiling on nothing. I don't want to cap nothing off. Not to say that I'm very content right now. I love what I do. I love my life right now. But I would like to eventually, maybe start something again where I'm, venture out. But at the same time, like, I love who I work for, and even growing that business
Yeah.
for those people
I
and
get
the
that.
people I work for.
Yeah, I
Like, it
get
would
that.
be great because, like I said, I've met so many people, and like I said, the waterfowl industry is very cutthroat. And when you find some genuine people, like, you want to stay with them. And like, these guys are like top notch, cool dudes. Like, these aren't just dudes I go and hunt with waterfowl season and then like don't stay in contact with them. Like, it's all because like it's like a brotherhood type
Friends.
deal. Yeah, they're like really good people.
Can you give him a
So,
shout out?
So what's the
That would be where I work at in Arkansas is for Snow Addictions Guide Service. They have an Instagram, a Facebook, and as far as snow goose hunting, this will sound biased coming from me, but okay. So my boss, Jonathan Olson, those guys, us as a team, whatever. Here I said again, I'm not being cocky or arrogant, but when it comes to snow goose hunting, I don't think nobody's touching us.
Yeah.
Like, just being honest.
Hey, facts are facts.
Like,
Okay.
just being completely honest. Just because, like, we put so much work into it. It ain't just about cutting a check. like taking people's money. Like it's all about like because we want to kill them worse, like even more than the clients, you know.
Yeah.
And that's really when you get to that point where you're just like all about the money, which it's still about money, but we want to hunt out. Like that's why I'm laying out in the mud with you too, because I like killing these things.
Yeah.
Like so I would. Yeah, they're.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I got one question as we wrap it up. What was the hardest thing getting to where you are now that you had to endure in life? The best choice, the life lesson, something you can give the listeners to keep going, to chase their dreams. What was the hardest thing, or just a life lesson?
Well, okay, being in the industry and stuff I'm in, and being who I am, a lot of chances were taken there because, like, on top of a waterfowl hunter in Western Kentucky wanting to guide rare. On top of that, a black waterfowl guide in Kentucky
Right.
being.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could give anybody like any bit of information or like insight or whatever, even when stuff's like negative or people telling you this or calling you certain this or that or like, oh, he ain't gonna do this or you can't amount, don't listen to them. Like, we, as human nature, you care about, I don't care who you are, but you care about people's opinions. If you can get to a certain stage when it's like, fuck them. Like,
That's
it.
right.
you know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Like, and I don't mean that in a way like anybody you meet, like, I don't care what they. No, I'm not saying that. But you can tell when you meet people and stuff. Who cares about another person? If you're doing what you love to do, why do I care what so and so is? And that's another thing. Going back to like social media and stuff, I feel like everybody wants to get validated now for like the likes and all that stuff. Like, who cares? Like, if you like what you do or like just enjoy life as it is, because like this shit can be gone tomorrow.
That's exactly. Yeah.
So, like, if you're going to do something you like or enjoy or you like the life you live right now, by all means, who cares about carrying down the street?
That's
You know,
right.
like,
Yeah.
who cares? If you like what you do, do it. You know, that's really what it really boils down to for
Or the
me.
stave mill employee
Yeah. Hey,
down the street.
thank you for coming on.
I thank y'all for having me.
Yeah.
And we want
for
you
sure.
on again for
Yeah,
sure.
For sure.
Definitely.
Man, that's a great story,
Yeah.
and everybody should take some notes from that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all have anything to finish it out?
No, I'm
Anybody?
good. I'm not gonna follow that. That was good, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate you
I
coming
think
on.
it's a good message. I'm glad you came on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, because that's kind of what we preach or talk here is don't give a shit what people think.
Yeah.
Do your thing,
Yeah.
and the people that care about you
Yeah.
and the people that support you will be there, and don't give a shit what other people think.
And not to be cliche, but honestly, the smaller the circle, the better.
The smaller the circle, the better.
We've,
Like,
we've talked about that inner circle.
I'm being like
We've
like
talked about
that's
that.
that's 100%.
Pick your circle.
Yeah.
We didn't tell him to say that. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Everybody, I don't care who you are. There's so many people that have hidden agendas.
Oh,
There
no
is.
doubt. And your friends are always happy that you do good.
Yeah.
We've talked about that.
The people
The
we've
people
talked about that, but and the people that
clap for you.
that's it, man. At the end of the day, if people don't clap for you, there's no reason for you to be around them.
Or care what they think.
Yeah.
That's it.
Who cares?
It's a fake world.
It is.
It's a fake world
is.
now. Well, it's been great. Y'all look him up. Give your social media and your.
So that's
You might want to spell it because I know you said it, but you may want to spell it
so
for people.
on Instagram is at Mikal Gowins 23. So that's MIKAL GOWINS 23, and then Facebook just same. That's my name. So
All right, that's
So
my name.
pretty
That's
easy.
his
That's
name.
my
easy.
name. And the Snow
Hey.
Addiction Guide series.
yeah.
It's been great, Mikal, and thank you for coming on. We'll have you on again.
Yep. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Till next time, Life Chaser out.
You bet. What? Hold up.
I still am. Like, I've watched LeBron play 4 times. I think maybe we should have put this on. To me, he is my coach. But